Welcome back to the Piece of Us podcast.
Welcome back.
It is our original cast. We have Max, we have Aaron, and we have Joe.
And we have Kristen.
It's Halloween. How's
Today,
your guys' Halloween so far?
I feel like we should be wearing costumes right now.
Oh, we should.
I'm dressing up as a
Missed
biker
opportunity.
today. We should have dressed up.
Me and
though.
you.
dressed up on the podcast. Aaron's going all out this year.
Full Ken.
Full Ken. Aaron, you're going to need to talk into the mic more. I can't. It's going to be really bad in the audio.
Can you hear me now?
It needs to be way closer.
Closer.
Otherwise, it's going to cut in and out and make the audio super weird.
This doesn't feel solid.
Oh, it's not.
You need to put it up higher. Like,
Sorry, guys. Mic issues.
there.
Oh, nice. Sick.
There he is.
Okay.
Hey.
Much better. Now we can hear you.
Welcome to the podcast.
All right, today, well, with it being Halloween and the holidays are coming up, which are both a happy and kind of a sad time for some people. So we want to talk about holiday traditions, the good, the bad, the everything with holidays. So,
I have a story to start this off.
Okay.
All right. So I recently went on a bike ride with my grandparents for the first time, and it was a ton of fun. They have Can-Ams, they have the 3-wheel motorcycles, and I just went with them on mine. It was so much fun. But they invited me on their tradition, and they want me to come do a motorcycle ride with them on Christmas morning. So
what?
I think I'm gonna.
Wait, that's after presents and after a morning with your
I don't
family,
know.
right? Max!
Yeah, we gotta open presents early though, depending on what time. I don't know what time they go, but they were like, it's something we do every year, and so I feel like I gotta join them on this one. And they say they go have hot chocolate and stuff, and
That's nice of the
sounds like a fun
grandparents to
tradition
invite
though.
you.
Yeah,
That sounds
That's
pretty
nice.
so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, but you know when you have a family someday, you're not going to be able to carry that tradition because I don't think your wife is going to want you to leave her and the kids and go out riding.
I'll just get a
Maybe.
bunch of side carts.
There you go.
Put all the kids in the side carts. There you go.
That's true. Get her one and then you guys can all go together. That would be fun. What is your favorite tradition, Aaron?
My favorite tradition. When I was young, my family, we were practicing Lutheran at the time, but they would always do like a midnight mass, Christmas Eve. And it was just the most beautiful, most peaceful, just experience. And they had a beautiful, like, not orchestra, but like the piano and everything. And I just loved going and singing Christmas carols. And yeah, if I could recreate some of that in my current status, that'd be cool.
What about you, Joe?
Wow. We had a lot of traditions growing up, a lot of just different things we did around the holidays. So it's kind of hard for me to narrow down one specific one. A lot of them, as we've gotten older, some of them have kind of died off. But I think the one that has really kept up that most everybody in my family really enjoys is we make tamales every year.
Yes.
they are very
and
good.
he brings them and they're amazing.
Aaron's dad actually, every year when he sees me around Christmas time, and we do it usually sometime during December, just when everybody's schedule matches. But every year, your dad is always asking, hey, do you have tamales? Did you bring some? And so for a long time, I mean, gosh, probably 15 years now, every year I always have to be like, okay, I need to get a dozen for this friend and a dozen for this friend and a dozen for Aaron's dad. And he's part of the list. And I really enjoy that because it's quite a family production that we do.
Joe has something exciting he's doing this year. So we got invited to be a part of like a living nativity where people drive through and you're acting out, the nativity scene. Now, most of our family aren't able to do it because of our crazy schedules. But Joe, are you going to do it?
I am. And it actually ties into an old tradition. Years and years ago, when I was younger, we lived down in Tucson. And there was a church that did a living nativity. So everybody dresses up as the different characters in the nativity, a lot of decorations, things like that. And I remember as a kid, I loved going and seeing that. And it was just always really neat seeing the different, the different parts of the story and it kind of made everything feel a little bit more real on the religious side of Christmas. And so when I got the opportunity from our friend Carrie, who's going to be a part of that, I jumped at it instantly. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know, I'll put that on my schedule. I will make that work, because it's actually reviving a tradition that I had when I was younger that I haven't been able to do. Kind of like how Aaron said, he's like, oh, I kind of feel like I need to bring that back in my life. Holidays are different for me, so I'm trying to bring some of those aspects of the holidays that I used to love when I was younger back into my life now. So I'm hoping that's going to be a really good, fun thing that maybe I can pick up and hopefully do year after year.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm excited. And I'm hoping we're going to be able to go to it and drive the kids around. I think it'd be a really cool thing.
Now, whoa.
What?
What is your favorite Christmas tradition?
Oh, my favorite. Okay.
She always tries to get out of
I
it.
thought she was getting off scot-free.
No, my favorite, I would say the favorite one that we currently do every single year is the sibling gift exchange. I feel like watching the kids, get out of, I feel like a lot of times, especially with social media and just different things, a lot of people are like, oh, what am I going to do? And me kind of, mentality. And so to be able to have a tradition where the kids are thinking about other people and thinking about their siblings and what they're going to enjoy, and then watching the sibling watch their sibling open the present and the smile on their face and their genuine joy is just my favorite thing every year. So that's the tradition that I absolutely love that we do and that I will continue probably forever, even with grandchildren in the future. But one tradition that we used to do a lot that I want to bring back this year is when we started growing our family, and I think we were probably at 4 or 5 kids. One-on-one attention is a really big thing to Aaron and I, and we've always tried to do that with the kids. And so every Christmas, or a month or two before Christmas, we would take pictures with just Aaron and I and the one kid. So, and then on Christmas morning, we would put it into a frame, and then we'd write them a personal note to just them, and I'd put it next to the stocking. So our tradition with it was like, okay, Santa brought you a stocking, fun, candy, toys, whatever in it. But then there's this personal gift that's from us, and that's how important each one of them is on an individual level. And so we stopped doing that when we got to about 12 kids. It was a lot of work. But no, it wasn't just that. I think I just kind of forgot about it and it kind of went to the wayside. But I was thinking about it recently, and I'm like, we're going to bring that back this year. And
I
now
have
we're
a question.
We're going to have 17 letters.
What happened to Elf on the Shelf? Why did we get rid of the Elf on the Shelf?
Okay, listen.
That elf still exists.
What was the elf's name?
Okay, Katie.
Katie. Every year we would have this elf, and the elf watches you to make sure you're good, and then reports back to Santa every night, and then comes back and does something fun every night.
Okay, so Elf on the Shelf is, it's Katie, and she was amazing. She came and she went all out. Like, this elf went into so much trouble, and every morning it was the funnest thing to watch Max and Hallie, and they were younger, so they would run, and they would all just, have the best time. And this is right when we started fostering teens, and we actually had a teen foster son. And one year it was a really big bonding for him and I, as we would take turns each night, doing the elf on, and then we would vote, we would compare who got the better reaction from all the younger kids.
Who won?
Oh, he won. But he took it too far, and he flower bombed. No, not just the kitchen. He flower bombed the entire house one night, and I woke up. The kids were covered in flour. The room was covered, everything. And I had a couple of the crazy middle kids had stayed the night, and they were flower bombed. And I was like, okay,
Who wrote on our face? One night we got our face written on, and I don't know how do you not wake up to that?
I feel
like now if I get my face written on when I'm sleeping, I'm waking up for sure.
I don't know. That was also our foster son. He went all out. He flipped all the furniture one time upside down. He was so into it. But it was really cool. It was a good bonding.
Vicious.
Katie was a little wild that year. I will say he took it too far one night, and he created wait, I don't even say it, but like a whole massacre where there was like, you know, toys that were dismangled. And I was like, okay, we're done. We're done. If the kids did, and thankfully I saw it before any of the kids did, and I was able to clean it up. But I was like, oh my gosh, it got a little wild. But no, Katie, over the years, I just feel like as everyone has gotten older, it just got less magical. I don't know. It just got less fun. But I'm excited to announce that Katie will be back this year. I have a whole plan, and Katie is so excited to come back. And I feel like with our new daughter, with Arwen and with Aurora, it's going to be the best. Yeah, we're going to bring back the magic this year. So Katie will be.
Are me and you going to have a race this time?
Should we?
Let's do it.
Let's do
I'm
it.
down. We'll
I have a whole plan. Katie's having fun this year.
All right.
Aaron, if you're going to step in and do Katie one time, you know the Marvel movies and things like that. Some of your younger kids, they all know the Marvel movies. Katie needs to get lost in the multiverse at some point and like disappear. So you need to set that up. And that gives you a couple of days to not do anything because they'll look around and like, nope, Katie's still in the multiverse. Gives you a break.
That's actually a good idea. I like that.
I like that. Whenever I get sick of doing Katie or I'm just out of ideas, yeah, she got sick and was gone for like 3 or 4 days. Or she breaks her leg so she can't move for a while. Yeah, that happened one year. I don't know. Katie gets a little wild, but it's a fun tradition. We need to bring it back for sure.
One other tradition that I really like, or I miss, when my mom wasn't sick and my parents were younger, every Christmas Eve, they would take all of our kids and put up luminarias around their house.
I know.
And it was just some amazing pictures, amazing quality time, with the grandkids and the grandparents. Due to my mom's health, she hasn't been able to do that. But I don't know. Maybe we could do it for them.
Ooh, I like that.
That would be so special for her to look out and see that, because that is something that they loved to do every year.
She used to have them all outside, all over her front yard and stuff, didn't she?
I'm worried because John's supposed to be having surgery at
surgery.
First part of the month, and I don't know if he'll be. I'm just worried that he's going to want to like help out too much, and I don't want him to.
Well, what if they don't
overdo
know?
himself.
If we just
what if they
sneak
don't
over?
know?
We do it at our house. Like we get all the bags ready, and then we sneak over there, and we'll put them all in the back of Max's truck.
I was
or
gonna say,
whatnot,
we could,
and then just set them all out so they can look out and see that.
I think we need to let him know because he is the kind that if he noticed something going on, he would try to go out and see. So we don't want him to hurt himself.
Right.
Or us.
Right.
I also need to find out where he got all of this stuff. Because they do actual luminarias with candles like lit in there. They weren't like LED lights or anything like that. So you had to go, fill a bag with sand and then put a candle in there and light it individually. So it was a lot of work, but
Yeah, that could be fun to do for sure.
we could do that.
And what if we brought them along and we can have them light them? Like we have those 2 wheelchairs we can use, and we could just kind of push them along
That's an
as they
idea.
light them.
I like that.
Now, growing up, Max, what was your favorite tradition that we did or that we do currently? Like, is there anything that stuck out that you're like, I want to do that with my family when I'm older?
Definitely the bringing them to the grandparents' house to open presents on Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. That was always such good memories, such good pictures. I look back at pictures and videos and I'm like, I miss that.
I know.
And so I feel like that would probably be number 1 for me.
So when Aaron and I were first getting married, his mom was like, I love Christmas, and I'm like, but we want to, like, once we started having kids, I was like, I want to do Christmas morning at our house. And your mom was like, Christmas Eve is mine though, Crystal. Like Christmas Eve, you don't do anything. Like that is my day. And I'm like, done. We can do that. And so every year, on Christmas Eve, we would go to the grandparents'
They used
house.
to heat the pool. We could go swimming, and then they used to barbecue. That was such a fun day.
I know.
Those are times I miss.
Aw. So I guess turning it a little bit, what is hard around the holidays? Because a lot of people, I think, have this picture where, holidays need to be bright and cheery and holidays need to be the best. And, Aaron had last year where he had a really hard season because normally he loves December. And with his mom getting sick, with just several things going on, he really struggled last year. And I don't think that it's talked about enough, but there is something called the holiday blues. And do you want to talk a little bit about it?
I'll say what I can. Yeah, I just last Christmas, I just was not myself. I just, it's the holidays, and everything should be, you hope that everything is joyous and, that you're finding joy in everything that you do. And last year, I struggled. Um, I would wake up and not feel very motivated. Um, I wouldn't, I wouldn't, I was most likely depressed, but I wouldn't say that I felt depressed. I know what depressed feels like, but I wouldn't describe it like that. But there was just this like darkness that I couldn't shake. I don't know. I would wake up and I just couldn't get motivated, couldn't be happy about the things that I would want to be happy about. And it was a real struggle.
That's depression.
That's depression.
Yeah, that's
That is depression.
I think depression looks different for everybody, but I think that a lot of people don't recognize it as depression when sometimes it is. And with you, Joe, like you had said to me that, you don't have the traditional family around you. So what was your mindset and how did that have to change?
Yeah, so I mean, you talk about the holiday blues, and that's something I've struggled with for years and years and years. Like I used to love the holidays, and then all of a sudden, for a long time, probably pushing on a decade, I didn't love the holidays anymore because it was, a lot of different things that kind of compounded and gave me a lot of depression during the holiday times. I've literally spent like Christmas morning at a bar because it was like I didn't have. Sorry. When you feel like you don't have a place to go, you want something, and when you don't have a family, it's kind of hard. And so, starting off, I had a very big family, kind of like how not as big as you guys. I mean, nobody really has that. But I had 5 sisters, 2 brothers, stepsisters, half sisters, all the mix. But holidays were always very big productions, a lot of things that you do. You're doing it around a lot of people. And then as people start getting older, kind of as how you had talked about, people go and it's like, oh, well, I want this tradition. Well, you can't do that because I want, people get married, family starts going different directions. You move out of the house, you do different things. And then tradition suddenly is like, okay, well, what's a tradition for one person look like? Is there decorating? You decorate, you love decorating. Everybody gets to see everything all over the house. And when you're the only one that sees that, it's kind of like, well, what's the point? It's a lot of work, which I think sometimes actually it's almost a self-sabotage of the holidays because it's like, if I'm not doing anything to get into the spirit, obviously I'm not going to have that holiday spirit. Mm-hmm. So that's actually something I'm going to do this year that I haven't done in a long time is I'm going to decorate again. But not having a family, it's kind of hard sometimes to go and say, okay, well, I used to go and do the zoo lights. So I want to go, all right, do I have to go with somebody? Well, yeah, it's kind of fun to do, but I could still go by myself. I could go with friends. I could do things like that. And so over the years, I've had to kind of start recognizing, hey, I can do a lot of the holiday things that I used to. It's just going to look a little bit different. And it's going to be maybe not exactly what it was, like, okay, it's a lot of fun to give sibling gift exchanges, but all of my siblings live all over the country. And it's kind of hard sometimes. And a lot of us older siblings, we've talked about it. We're like, yeah, we don't really, everybody's got kids. They're doing different things. We don't want to necessarily do the sibling gift exchange anymore just because it's almost so much work. But it's a lot of fun to send things to nieces and nephews or maybe do a gift exchange with friends or do things like that. And I've realized traditions don't always have to stay exactly the same. I feel like it's a little, and this is something I'm learning, I feel like it's a little bit more the spirit behind the tradition. And logistically, sometimes you can't do the exact same thing. Like maybe you don't do the midnight mass anymore, but what is something you can do instead? You love doing the Christmas carols. So why don't we go find a way to go sing Christmas carols to modify the tradition to what fits your current scenario? So for me, as a single person, it's been very hard at the holidays, but I am learning to find ways to go, hey, I can actually do a lot more, and realize, hey, if I don't necessarily have a place to go Christmas morning, I sleep in now, because it's like, I don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock to go do anything, because A, I don't have a tree, and B, I don't have anything to do with anybody. If I wanted to do something, I'm sure I could go find someplace. I could run over here. I could go over to my nieces and nephews, things like that. But I've also realized, like, hey, you know what? I enjoy sleeping in. I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to probably watch a Christmas movie or something in the morning, get myself some hot cocoa, let other people have their traditions. And then in the afternoon, I can go do other holiday traditions with other people.
I love that. And I love how you said it's the spirit behind things, because once we got over, I don't even know, 4 kids, we stopped getting invited to Thanksgiving. And it was in our family, and I feel like we were a lot, and now it's obviously even more. And I remember my feelings being so hurt and feeling so sad, and I'm like, is our family's just not accepting that we're adopting kids as the and you start running all these scenarios in your head. But I think at the end of the day, I still don't know why. Well, I guess I kind of do. I guess at the end of the day, I feel like once we were getting so many kids, it was just a lot to invite us over. And Aaron and I had to sit down and like, okay, we need to figure out how to make the best turkey that we can make. We have to figure out, and it's kind of just that, switch from being, a teen and being a kid and having your parents do a lot of things for you and set all this stuff up, to being that adult and starting your own traditions. And so we started doing our own Thanksgivings. And that's when, Shelly and Jared are like, we get it. We have a big family too. Let's do ours together. And, the bigger, the better at this point. But it just looked different than what we had initially had, even for the first few years of our marriage. And so I feel like it's okay for traditions to change, and it's okay for that. And as long as you keep the spirit behind it and make the best of the situation, I feel like, yeah, you can make it work somehow. But
why do you think traditions are important?
I think it's a thing of memory, right? Like, in order for a memory to be created, you have to have like a feeling or emotion around it. And so I think traditions are great because they help to solidify, like when I talk about the midnight mass, one of the things, or during part of the service, everybody has a candle and they light it up. And, and then you're singing Christmas carols and you got a candle, and it's just this, this experience and this warmth that's coming off the candle. But I don't know, that I feel like that's what engraves it in your memory so much, and so I think that's when it comes to, Christmas traditions or family traditions or holiday traditions, try to focus on, either a smell or a scent, a sight, something, I don't know.
My favorite tradition, no, I feel like that Christmas one is probably my favorite, but another one is when you guys get me the heart for my birthday.
Oh, for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, that is probably, you guys, when I move out, you got to drop it off at the doorstep. You have to.
You have to do that the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's another one I
explain that
love.
one. What is that one?
So on my birthday, Valentine's Day, they always get me a heart full of chocolates, and then they usually put it at my bed or at my door.
It used to be on your pillow.
Yeah,
when
it
you
used
were
to be on
little,
the pillow, but yeah, and they just give me a big chocolate heart, and it's an amazing way to start my birthday. It really is.
Oh, that's sweet. And I feel like that tradition started with my mom. And, every year, Valentine's Day is such a hard holiday for a lot of people, because if you're single,
why'd you look at me on that one?
No, I wasn't trying to look at you, but I'm just saying, like, Valentine's Day, when you're like single, a lot of people feel bad or feel like I don't get anything, or what's the point of this holiday? Like, it feels like a holiday that's very targeted towards being in a relationship. And,
It's Single Awareness Day.
Single Awareness Day. I could get that. But every year my mom would put a heart on my pillow at night and I would wake up to that. And so growing up, I thought of Valentine's Day as just someone around you loves you. And so it was kind of a different, I guess, mentality, but I really loved that. And I just felt so loved on that day. And so I've always loved Valentine's Day also. And then when Max was born on it, it made it even better. And it is my dad's birthday also. And so it was just always that day of, even though, my dad passed away when I was young, my mom would still continue to do that heart on my pillow. And it just kind of, I don't know, it felt like a hug from my dad too. And so, yeah, I continued that on, and I never really knew the impact or really even thought twice about it when I was doing it with my children. But even Hallie has come out recently and she was like, that's my favorite holiday just because I got that heart every year. And so I think it's sometimes the little things, and they're just the little, like, $2 heart of chocolates from, Walmart or wherever. So I think sometimes traditions can be the little simple things, and just to know that someone's thinking about you, or a tradition that just brings that, where you feel like you're getting a hug that day.
Knowing somebody took the time out of their way, it's not the value of the chocolates so much as the fact that you remember to go do that for them, and just that kind act or gesture that's like, oh, hey. And it's not a romantic love, it's more of just that familial love, or the brotherly love type thing of, hey, I really care about you, which is a really cool thing for somebody, even if they are single, right? You're single, you don't have anybody you're having to give flowers to. Here. Oh, I'm single too, it's okay. You don't, but you still have somebody like reminding you, hey, I still love you, and that kind of thing. And so maybe that's kind of that alteration of traditions a little bit too, that is super meaningful for both of your kids.
Today is Halloween. Am I the only one who thinks Halloween is just kind of a weird holiday? Because no one else really celebrates it. It's really only the U.S. It's like you one night out of the year, you walk around to people's houses, you knock on their door, and they give you candy. It's like
right?
It's like a weird holiday, and it's probably weirder for people on the outside who look in. They're like, "What the heck?"
Well, you do have have All Hallows Eve. You've got All Hallows Eve, which is turned into Halloween. And you've got Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. So there are other people, but here in the States, we kind of just commercialize everything. Mm-hmm. So it's all about, the candy and chocolate on Valentine's Day and the flowers. It's all about, Hallmark gets in on everything. It's all about the candy and the costumes here. But there were actually some religious significance and different cultural significance back in the day. We just took it overboard.
I was like, Halloween is my least favorite holiday. I'll just say it. I don't love Halloween. I don't love...
You know who does? Aunt Bonnie.
Aunt Bonnie loves Halloween.
She goes crazy. Her yard is always decked out.
Right. And I think growing up, I liked Halloween. Like, it was fine. But I think as we have done foster care over the years, and a lot of times when foster kids come in, they don't have stranger danger or stranger awareness. And so I feel like it's that one holiday where you're like, okay, let's go knock on strangers' doors and take candy from them. And, for kids that, haven't celebrated Halloween or have been through foster care and don't have that stranger awareness, it was really hard to be like, okay, don't ever take, candy from strangers except for on this one day. And
then they're wearing a mask and they're all creepy.
And have them wear masks and you can't see who they are. And it was hard that we've had to sit quite a few of our kids, down and like, okay, this is a holiday. This is, this is celebrated on this day, but we don't talk to strangers. And it's this hard conversation that we've had to sit down and have with a few of the kids that just didn't understand. And so I don't know. I've just never loved Halloween. And I think that's a piece of it, but yeah.
I really miss Thanksgivings and St. John's with the crazy middles.
I miss them too, yeah.
I definitely think we should have Thanksgiving this year with them. And
so talk about that. What did it look like before? What does it look like now?
I don't know. Kind of like what Crystal was talking about earlier about, going from a child and having your parents do stuff for you to, doing it yourself. you know, I knew how to cook turkeys and whatnot, but I had some of the most fun times cooking turkeys with Jared. The one year we did a deep fried turkey, it was very tasty. If you haven't deep fried a turkey before, give it a try. But just the camaraderie of, you know, hanging out with Jared, you know, for multiple hours, trying to make this thing work, and then for it to have a fruitful ending of really tasty food. It was just, I don't know.
I think it's amazing to celebrate with the Crazy Middles because they understand.
Yeah.
They, have done foster care and adoption, and they, have built their families out of love. And it's just, it feels when we're all together, and it's not just Thanksgiving, it's whenever we all get together. When we're there, it's just you're around your people, and I think it's important to surround yourself with people that feel and think like you, or, have the same values or whatever it is. It's just, yeah.
I'm curious, what traditions do you guys have? Write them in the comments because I'm curious.
What are your favorite traditions? What is a tradition maybe we should start doing that we haven't even thought of? Because there's so many out there.
Traditions have to start somewhere. So if there's one you want to do, you can always say, hey, we're going to start it. And
I think Aurora is still young enough that we can create a new family tradition around Christmas, like maybe watching a Christmas movie on a certain day or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we should do something like that.
That would be really fun. All right. Well, thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and end it here, but thank you all so much for joining us, and we will catch you guys next time.
Happy Halloween. I know this is going to come a week late, but
happy holidays in general.
Yes.
We're starting that season.
Happy holidays, you guys. It's good to be back.
peace.
All right. Peace.
Love you guys. Peace.